unruly passengers on airline flights is becoming a more serious and unfortunately a more common issue. 9 News legal analyst Whitney Traylor joins us live to talk about how the law works while getting into an altercation in the sky. Good morning, Whitney. How are you?
Good morning, Erica. I'm good. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. All right, can you give us some numbers and context of how things have gotten so much worse on these planes?
Right. This year, we've seen so many increases in unruly passengers. And so the FAA, they said as of November 23rd, they've seen over 5,000 unruly passenger reports. There's been an additional 3,856 that were related to the mask mandates. So the FAA is referring the more egregious cases out to the FBI and the Department of Justice for prosecution. 37 of those 5,000 passenger complaints have been sent out for that because the FAA cannot criminally prosecute. So they can assess fines though. And what they're saying is that the mask mandates and alcohol seem to be contributing to this situation. And I read a couple reports from psychologists who also said we've just become desensitized to yelling and freaking out. And we're seeing this in hospitals as well.
It is so not okay. I've got a couple friends that are flight attendants, and it's been so tough on them. Whitney, what kind of laws actually govern the sky?
That's a great question. And I think we're going to actually see maybe some new laws. Currently, there is a federal law or federal laws that prohibit interfering with a flight crew. And this includes assaulting, intimidating, and threatening them while on board. Now, the Department of Justice does have special aircraft jurisdiction. Now, I will say the FAA has moved to a zero tolerance policy, and the FAA can impose civil fines up to $37,000. Now, a lot of folks in the industry and lawmakers are saying, look, we need a complete ban on flying for some of these folks. So we're gonna see. There has been discussions about how to make the law more intense or more effective. So we may see more federal legislation in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I think there definitely should be. What do you anticipate will happen in the future as it kind of relates to these unruly passengers? Thinking like kind of what you were just talking about, will Congress get involved? And you kind of just said you believe some stricter laws are probably on the way.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I anticipate that. And I say that based on last month, there were a number of hearings with the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee. There were airline experts. And so what some airlines have started to do, they've started to put additional barriers to prevent unruly people from getting into the cockpit. They are starting to do increased training or defense training for flight attendants. So there's a lot of things on the table. And it's interesting, you hear a lot of people, the keyboard warriors or whatever, saying, hey, government, stay out of our lives, stay out of our business. But it's these kind of scenarios, really, it's our own bad behavior that leads the government really to get involved. Had we not had these increased bouts of violence on airlines, we probably would not see any more new laws.
And Whitney, gosh, that video is just insane of just the full-blown fights. It's so not okay. What should someone do if they're next to someone who is in a situation that is escalating and might be violent like that video we've been seeing?
Right. And there's been so many different situations. I mean, there's been flight attendants who were, punched in the face, lost teeth, broke bones, broken nose, all these really outrageous things. So what they're saying is, hey, let the flight attendants handle the problem, follow the directions. They said if someone's sitting next to you and they start to get agitated, they said try to de-escalate, don't inflame the situation. And again, as I mentioned earlier, they're saying a lot of the reason is because of alcohol, and so the flight crew is supposed to be kind of watching the alcohol intake, but a lot of folks come on the plane already feeling good and ready to go. So they said, look, if you're starting to feel anxious, if you personally are starting to get agitated, take deep, paced breaths. They said, remember the golden rule, and Hopefully they don't like passengers to get involved, but we've seen scenarios where passengers did have to get involved and they, were using duct tape and things like that. So that's where I think we're going to see a more standard across the board industry wide standard in terms of how they're going to handle these folks. So we may start to see handcuffs on board and other types of restraints so that folks are not just resorting to the duct tape.
Yeah, absolutely, Whitney. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
It's good to be here. Thank you.